Let's go project!
You are quite the hard worker. I sense danger. Here we go again.
Okay, Saber. Go, break, then attack.
Missed! Try to land it again!
There we go.
Take this!
Yes!
I'm exhausted. Please, can we go home now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Then let us continue tomorrow.
I'm going to kill you.
Snake's words were a guttural growl, barely audible.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm going to kill you.
Ah, so you're going to kill me? Please, do. Come now, I'm waiting.
Don't do it! Don't listen to him, Snake!
Stop it, kid! You're screwing with your head!
Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister?
Don't! Snake!
Don't do it!
But Snake could no longer hear them. Snake could no longer hear anything. Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair.
Snake!
Snake!
I gotta hand it to you, Mr. Lawyer. You got skills. Why? Why did you have to figure it out? It doesn't matter what happens to me anymore. I'm ready to die.
So is what the defense is claiming true?
The captain, he found out I drained the show stage pool. He rushed to the side of the pool, frantic to put some water in for the orca. And then, he slipped.
Orla! Orla! Yeah!
Captain! Give me your left hand!
No, Marlin! You'll fall too!
Don't be a hero cracker! Just grab my hand!
Marlin, stop! Forgive me, Marlin. I didn't realize what deep pain you were in. But please, please don't blame Orla. It's nobody's fault. Not Orla's, and not yours.
Hey! Captain!
So, Jack Shipley's death was accidental. Why didn't you tell us that you didn't kill the victim?
Hey, because I have no right to live anymore. I'm ready to get the death penalty. The captain died because of me. And then, on top of it all, I used his body to frame Orla. I was gonna kill Orla. And she wasn't even to blame. She didn't do anything wrong. The only thing I can do now is pay for it all with my life. I can't do anything. I couldn't save the captain. I couldn't avenge Azura's death.
Mr. Rhymes, you have the wrong idea about Miss Summer's death. Not even the first Aura Shipley was responsible for her dying. Aura, of her own accord, was trying to save your girlfriend's life.
What? What What are you talking about?
Azura Summers suffered from a heart condition. But she didn't tell anyone, and she performed in the pirate show anyway. She had a heart attack and died before anyone could save her. I'm sure she didn't think Aura attacked her. There's absolutely nothing to avenge.
No way. A heart condition? She never said a word about it.
Maybe she didn't want you to worry about her.
So I wanted to get revenge all this time. For nothing.
Aretha, are you still working on the calculator?
Nope, that was done a long time ago. I had a working proof of concept for my capstone, and the first prototype was successfully built the year after that.
She explains all this with a bright expression. Can I see the prototype?
Well, the thing is, the calculator is as big as an omnibus, so it's a little hard to move from MM.
After graduating from Conservatoire des Overtures more than 4 years ago, Aretha went on to work as a magical engineer in Magical Mechanical Research and Development Center. When she was still working on her final year project in Conservatoire, nobody had paid any attention to her research. But the day after she presented it to the examiners, it made headlines everywhere. She had built a proof of concept for a magic machine that could perform simple arithmetic calculation. Think 3 plus 4 or 5 plus 6. As long as both numbers were less than 16, the machine could produce the sum of 2 numbers. Lord Godwin came to our house the day the news was published in Overture Science Journal. Then what are you working on now?
A magic analytical engine.
Aretha watches me take a sip from my cup with enthusiasm gleaming on her face. What is an analytical engine?
It's going to be really cool, Elise.
So, what is an analytical engine?
It's like the calculator, but it can be used for general purpose computation. You can customize what it calculates and give it instructions that will be executed according to a defined logic.
Sounds complicated.
Elise, are you interested in knowing how magic machines can process mathematical logic?
No, not really.
I knew it. Only people like me would be interested in that kind of stuff.
If you're twin sisters, that means you killed your sister.
There's a huge reason for that. Deeper in the ocean. Psych! I'm just shitting ya.
Very well. Allow me to explain. For this project, I required someone to pull the strings behind the scenes in the academic coliseum. Someone to operate Monokuma and keep watch over all of you. In a word, a puppet master. However, according to my calculations, Mukuro Ikusaba was incapable of serving that role. She was, after all, a pitiful sister. The kind of incomparably pitiful sister who would go off on her own and enlist in a mercenary group. For that reason, I took the behind-the-scenes role and elected to leave her out in the open as a student. Keeping her with me behind the curtain was an option, but she wouldn't have been of any help there. Besides, 15 participants is a nice round number. But then there was the dilemma of Mukuro Ikusaba's title, the super duper high school mercenary. It is, in a word, 3H. Hopelessly foul, hopelessly disgusting, and hopelessly repulsive. To know that she was far removed from the needs of society required no calculation on my part. On the other hand, it would have been a shame to let the beauty of my supermodel title go to waste.
So that's why you switched places?
However, she resembled me even less than I had calculated. Despairingly so. She was no better than a filler character. Girl A, so to speak. Coupled with her underwhelming appearance, many predicted she would be one of the first murdered. So I killed her. I wanted to satisfy everyone's expectations.
Don't tell me. That's the only reason.
Naturally, that's not the only reason. there was also the more prevalent fact that I'd gotten tired of her.
You know, I never once had things go according to plan. It's like, by planning things out, I know what's gonna happen, so I start getting bored. So, I had to change apart and use Mukuro as a warning shot to the rest of you.
Mukuro Ikusaba's death was essentially caused by your betrayal. I thought that might have been the case. When you killed Mukuro Ikusaba, it was obvious she wasn't expecting it.
See, you noticed? Yep. Mukuro could never have put on a show that believable. But don't you think she made a great example because of it?
How can you be so carefree? You killed your own sister. How can you talk about it like it was nothing?
What? You're mad that I killed Mukuro? Misunderstandings are so scary. We're super duper high school despair, you know, so we have no hope when it comes to our lives. We despair to the world the moment we came into it, thinking, oh no, I should never have been born. The tears I cried when I was born were tears of despair. So for us, death and murder and all that is no big deal. That's what kind of people we are, and that's why we can do anything. Since we're constantly in despair, we can go all out and not be afraid of death!
You mean you didn't feel anything when you killed your sister?
You don't really believe that, do you? She's my twin sister. Of course I'm sad. If I wasn't, it wouldn't be so arousing. Do you know how it feels to murder your own beloved sister? It's despair. So much dismal despair. Dismal, dejected, despondent, dystopian despair. Not quite there yet. Dismal, dejected, despondent, dystopian, dreadful, depressive, dismayed, desolate, downcast despair. It's orgasmic.
What are you on about, dude?
I believe Mukuro despaired in her final moments. I mean, to be killed by your own little sister as nothing more than an example. She had to have died in the dregs of despair. I'm jealous of her. Dreadfully jealous.
I tried to continue eating, but was distracted by a murderous aura. I looked up to see the man with the ponytail glaring daggers at the man seated at my table. Wait, I know that glare. Mr. Bandages!
Honestly, if you recognized me, you could have at least used my name instead of the silly moniker.
But I don't know your name.
What do you mean you don't know my name? Does the name Landon Rivera ring any bells?
No, actually. What kind of a name is that?
Wait, Landon Rivera? You're that guy?
What guy?
The guy from the upscale menswear catalogs I sell.
I turned to face Mr. Bandages, or rather, Landon. So, why did you think I'd know who you are? In case you haven't noticed, I am not a man.
Well, he has ranked in the top 10 sexiest men alive in issues of Sinokoria magazines for the past few years.
Did you just suddenly become his biggest fan or something? Who the fuck even are you? Why are you still here?
However, not an hour ago, there was an incident near this cafe in which some people were attacked by a proletariat gang. Of course, now it will be quite impossible to avoid this hot topic.
Soft laughter breaks among the audience.
I believe it will make an interesting topic for this evening's discussion, especially because it isn't a secret anymore that this gang is in fact Libertad.
Wasn't Libertad obliterated by the police 5 years ago?
Yes, it was all over the news. The police raided the Libertad hideout at a brothel in the Proles district.
Oh, I knew that brothel.
Oh? How did you know it?
Well...
Ahem.
The police operation was led by Commander Wolf, wasn't it?
Commander Wolf of the Dragoon?
Yes, that Commander Wolf. It wasn't a Dragoon operation, though.
I heard the leader of Libertad was captured in the operation.
And later executed. What was his name?
Fyodor Hendricks.
Yeah, Fyodor Hendricks. The king ordered his execution a month later.
Was his crime that bad? Wasn't being locked in prison enough?
That man was dangerous. He tried to bring down the monarchy and take over the country.
Calm down, my lord. The man is quite dead.
Excuse me.
Well, he is dead, surely, but evidently there's someone else who's trying to be a second Fyodor Hendricks.
Amadeus?
Is that what he's called? Who exactly is that man?
Nobody knows. I heard he suddenly appeared about 2 or 3 years ago and revived Libertad.
So Libertad was gone?
Yes. After Hendricks was captured, Libertad was no more. But then this Amadeus came, and suddenly Libertad was back.
And they're even worse than before. A team of police was defeated by Libertad just now. I can't believe it.
Amadeus must be a very powerful magician. Not only could he bring Libertad back from the dead, he made them into a stronger organization than they ever were before.
Indeed. It's scary to think that a man capable of using that kind of magic is our enemy.
How did Libertad become this dangerous? 5 years ago, I'd never even heard of Libertad until they'd already been captured and sentenced.
There was news of citizens getting robbed by thugs near the outskirts of town.
I see. So those were Libertans. I thought they were only ordinary proles.
Nowadays, Libertad would attack anyone anywhere, even in the middle of the city in broad daylight.
It's not just Libertad. Recently, ordinary proles have been getting more aggressive as well.
Is that so? I thought they were all Libertad.
This is getting out of hand. I wish the police would do something.
What would that something be?
I don't know. Policing better'd be a good start.
Well, I think it is more important to think about what we can do to stay safe.
Very good point. What can we do?
The discussion continues for almost 2 hours. Occasionally it turns into heated debate, but Mrs. Howard always steers the discussion back on topic and keeps the atmosphere polite.
Without evidence to counter him, we're stuck at a draw. Agent Lang isn't wrong, except that he actually is. Let's see. I just need to prove that there were more than 2 kidnappers. But how? I feel like the evidence is right underneath my nose. No, not the victim's costume, or this pendant, or the love letter. Somewhere in this dossier? No, I'm not going to find evidence that there was more than 2 kidnappers here. Perhaps it's time for turbo prosecutor power! Nothing? I suppose I'm just going to have to slog through this. Where's a player's guide when you need it? Perhaps I can simply throw evidence at him until it confuses him into submission. Here, have a picture of a dead body. Objection! How about this? Objection! And one of these. Objection! Ready to give up yet? No? Well, I don't blame you. Wait! No! Go back! That was the piece of evidence I need! Oh no, we're going to do this again, aren't we? Didn't we learn our lesson about this back during trials and tribulations? Hold it! We've already seen this testimony. It is not going to help us. But please, continue to objection! Throw useless evidence at him because that's clearly helping! I haven't felt this put off since I asked Manfred what that scar on his shoulder was. All he would say was that it was proof positive that he bested my father, then he stared at a wall and hummed an aria from Das Rheingold for the next 30 seconds. And listening to him butcher Wagner in the throes of a vengeful reverie is still not nearly as awkward as waiting for you to pick the right evidence! Listen. www.gamefax.com Kindred.com. Go use it, right now. I'll just sit here and let Lang stare at me for the next 30 seconds. Yes, just me and Mr. Fangirl Bait over here. You know, this stare down reminds me of one particular conversation I had with Phoenix a long time ago. He confronted me about something and I said, "Phoenix, this has been my worst kept secret. But to tell the truth, oh, you appear to be back. Have you figured out which piece of evidence it is yet?" Objection! Well, that's a hell no if I ever saw one. Cold. Colder. Arctic sub-zero temperatures. Warm. Warmer. Warmer. Boiling hot. There, you finally found it. Objection!
Hang on. I almost got to you.
No, I can't hold on anymore.
Wait. Just a little more. The boy's hands finally give way. He is falling from above me. No parts of his body are in contact with any parts of the building. In a flash, I plant my feet against the wall, let go of whatever my stumps are holding to, and kick backwards. I managed to catch the boy in midair, but now we're in freefall. At least the boy is safe because I'm holding him in my arms and shielding his body with mine. The fall may kill me, but he will survive. Huh. I guess this is it. The end of Amadeus. Oh well, not that it matters anyway. How many times have I wished for this? I thought my death would be more glorious than this, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I feel as if I were falling in slow motion. Maybe time does slow down, the moment just before you die. This life gives you some extra time to lament hopelessly, struggling in vain to escape death, fearing how your consciousness will turn into nothingness. Joke's on you, life. I'm not afraid to die. Wait, something is wrong. I am falling in slow motion. I feel a gust of wind on my back. It's blowing upwards from below, slowing down the fall. A wind that blows from the ground to the sky can't be natural. Someone is using a wind magic spell. I reorient myself until I'm in an upward position, the boy still clutched tightly in my arms. A few seconds later, my feet touch the street. I release the boy and let him stand. Yes! The first thing I do once I've righted my posture is to look for the person who has just saved me. I don't have to wonder long, because I find her right away. Jude.
Come to think of it, you were super popular the other day, weren't you, Hina-chan?
I want to, but it looks like we're already derailing.
Everyone was saying you were really cute.
When she came to our class to give me her lunchbox.
They were like, she's so tiny and adorable, but it looks like she'd bite your head off if you tried to pet her. A ferocious cuteness. Big sis is so proud.
Is that a compliment?
Come hang out with us again. I bet everyone will give you some more of their lunches.
Come on, Hina, don't be lured by the food.
People talk about you in my class too, Ano-chan.
Whoa, really? Like what, like what?
They say you're like a princess and you have big boobs.
How embarrassing.
Hey, are you two studying? I was about to scold them, but Ano's pen started moving across Hina's notebook.
Anything else? What else did they say?
They also talk about school ghost stories.
Huh? What about me?
Nothing else about you.
Aww.
It seems secure, but Are you sure this will hold our weight?
I went over and gave the rope a strong tug. It should. We should go one at a time, though. I don't think it could take both of us at once.
Right. Are you sure it'll hold our weight?
You just asked that.
But what if it doesn't and we fall into the...
There's probably a safety net or something down there. Eric doesn't skimp on safety precautions, remember?
I still don't like it. We're practically walking into a trap.
You don't have to come. We can always split.
No! I'm not letting you risk your life for a silly game!
A silly game? This coming from you.
Even I'd never risk my life over a game.
Well, it's my life, and I can do what I want. Besides, it's perfectly safe.
Like hell I'll let you.
Mr. Bandages pulled me into a tight embrace.
Stop being such a stubborn idiot.
Hypocrite. I whispered softly as I returned his hug. For a moment, we just stood there. I could feel his warmth spreading through me and smiled as I leaned into him. You do realize that we still have to do this, right? I felt his arms tighten around me.
We don't have to do anything.
And then what would Eric and the Count think of you if they heard we gave up?
Like I care what they think.
No. This is the last event. Your last chance at winning.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm not going to mess this up for you. I broke away from him and ran towards the rope.
No!
And before he could say another word, I jumped into the air.
Having stared at his hand closely, I finally realize what has been wrong with his arm movement. His hands don't move. At all. The wrists don't bend or rotate. The fingers are extended and stuck together, unmoving. Those are not real human hands. Did he lose his hands? Had his hands been cut off from his arms? Could he be? Are you?
I await your answer. For liberty, Elise.
By the way, Orla wants you to give her a little celebratory prize.
Orla specifically requested that you give it to her, Phoenix.
All right, fine. Let's see, what can I give her? Orla, it's coming a day late, but congratulations on your verdict.
Oh my! Aren't you lucky?
That's Orla's best trick, the thank you kiss trick.
Oh, Orla! I want to be next. Come on, give me a kiss. But we're both girls. What series is this?
I stopped when I noticed a group of men circling us. Tyler immediately stood in front of me.
Well, well. So the blushing brat wants to look good in front of his girl.
Blushing? You've been following us!
Yeah, you guys are from the Valdemar mansion, right?
You got out of one of those expensive cars that have been driving the celebs all over town.
Now, unless you want to get hurt, I suggest you hand over all your money. Rich guys like you don't need it.
Another guy looked at me with a suggestive smirk.
Perhaps you can leave the girl too. I think I like this one.
Hey, Tyler. You can fight, right?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll protect...
I didn't waste a moment after getting confirmation. I darted out and knocked the creep to the ground. I turned to take out the next one and caught sight of Tyler fighting the other. I elbowed another and smashed his nose before flipping him over my shoulder. Once the last guy was down, I looked over at Tyler. You're pretty good.
Holy...
My. Did she manage to do that to you? It seems your reputation is grossly inflated.
What? I threw that fight on purpose! I thought I'd throw him a bone. My servant will blow them full of holes soon enough.
Oh, how thoughtful of you. I take it the defeated look on your face is an act, then? You suck.
Power of my rider's culverin is unrivaled. I can rip anyone to shreds in an instant.
A culverin, you say? It certainly must be strong. Your precious embodiment of evil, that is.
When it comes time for us to fight, it'll be too late to beg for mercy.
Unfortunately, I don't believe we'll ever get the chance to face one another.
It's not like I only study when exams are coming up. Though I can't say what everyone else does, I suppose.
It's so nice being a ghost. We don't have tests or anything.
I get it, Casper. Why don't you quit rubbing it in and try being a little friendlier?
Are you keeping up with your classes?
Yes, I am. I don't need to cram or anything.
I thought so. You're so boring.
I'll try harder. I'm tired of hearing that. This is fine, isn't it? My grades aren't bad.
You seem like you'd be good at the basics, but you'd take a really long time to get back up when you stumble on something.
That's incredibly none of your business.
Ooh, how scary.
Talking to her is tiring.
Sachi-san sent me with a message. Do your best with your studies this week.
Ah, I see. So that's what she's here for. Sachi-san herself said the same thing to me before. I got it. I won't be able to help you until tests are over.
I suppose not. I'll finally be able to spend some time with Sachi-san without our third wheel.
Would that be me? You guys are the ones who dragged me into this.
So there you have it. Things are bad. The world's in trouble.
What in the fresh heck, dude? That doesn't make any sense! What is this?
This is a movie or something, right?
You should all know the meaning behind the images on these screens.
We should know? What exactly should we know? How could we know anything about those ridiculous images?
That knowledge is in the memories you had stolen from you. If you can't remember, then please try. Please try your best to remember.
Have a little faith in your own brain. Whether you live or die is in the hands of that gray matter. I can't remember, ain't gonna fly here. 'Cause this is Class Trial. Come on, hurry the fuck up and remember. What happens in the outside world?
What do you expect us to remember by looking at those nonsensical images? That doesn't help at all!
What were those images? Is this another one of your damn pranks?
First off, you're telling us to remember. But what should we remember?
No one can remember anything.
No, there is someone! I wonder, maybe she remembers.
She who?
The other Fukawa, Genocider Show. The two of you share the same knowledge, but you don't share the same memory, right?
I see what you're saying. If their memories aren't shared, then it's possible one personality could remember something even if the other one forgot it.
How about it, Kawa?
You want me to switch with her? No, absolutely not. You're asking me to destroy my identity.
Fukawa, you're our only hope.
Dun 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 dun! It's me,
Your friendly neighborhood homicidal maniac.
Well, that was easy.
Her identity went down without much of a fight.
Answer my questions and only my questions, and give me a straight answer. Do those images ring a bell to you at all?
Yes. What images?
The images being shown on those monitors.
Who are you?
I'm the puppet master.
Nice to meet ya.
It's my pleasure.
Just look at the screen already!
Roger that, Captain.
I grabbed the camera and started to grapple with him for it. I just want one stupid picture.
Hey, let go! If it's just a stupid picture, I can delete it.
I felt his breath ghosting across my hair as he spoke, and my head jerked up. I froze at the proximity of our faces. His eyes widened momentarily. Sorry. I was about to back away when he pulled me into a rough kiss. Just as suddenly as it started, the kiss ended. He looked at me as though I grew 2 extra heads before turning and running away. Oh wait, you're going the wrong way. I brought a hand up to touch my still tingling lips. I wonder what that was about. That was definitely a kiss, right? Suddenly, all I felt was intense confusion. Seriously, who runs away after a kiss?
The tooth marks on the walkie-talkie were not made by the orca we now know as Orla. They were made a year ago by a different orca.
2 different orcas? I can't believe it!
The statement that the tooth marks on the walkie-talkie were from Orla was a lie. The truth is, this walkie-talkie was stolen from the victim, Jack Shipley. And the only person who could have stolen it is the true culprit, Marlon Rhymes! Looks like your mixtape has lost its fire, Mr. Rhymes.
No. You got it all wrong. It'd be all the fault of that orca! You got it all wrong! Blimey! It'd be the orca's fault! You can't be! Once again, I'm too weak to help anybody.
The obvious location is the kidnapper's hideout.
But we're still not allowed in, remember?
Agent Lang and his men should be done with this area. In that case, there is no harm in asking that officer over there to let us in. Let's hope he does, otherwise we're stalled. What do you have to report?
Señor, nada inusual o fuera de lo común, señor!
Where have I heard such redundancy before? Is it possible for you to let us take a look around inside?
Señor! Roger, señor!
That was surprisingly hassle-free. Are you certain? Didn't Agent Lang order you not to allow me in?
Señor, eso es verdad, pero... El papi Gumshoe me pidió personalmente que te dejara entrar, señor! Y no puedo rechazar una petición de él!
Wow! Looks like Detective Gumshoe has a following!
Además, se me pidió que le diera este documento, señor.
What is this? The man in this picture... Isn't this Mr. Oliver Deacon?
But the name here says Colin Deveray.
That's the same name as the one on the back of the pendant. It appears that Colin Deveray was his real name. What's this? He was convicted in a case 10 years ago and sent to prison.
What? Then what was he
Apparently, he broke out of jail and then just vanished. He must have become Oliver Deacon to cover up the fact that he was an escaped felon.
Now I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Is there some sort of link between the victim's past and this current case? These police documents are rather detailed. I should take the time to give them a thorough read eventually. It's fine. Let's focus on one thing at a time, starting with the kidnapper's hideout.
Yeah, I agree. We should investigate first, think later.
More than thinking things through, I think you should try remembering things first. Now then, if you could please unlock the door, officer.
Estaba encerrado hasta hace poco, pero... Desde entonces las puertas estaban abiertas, señor.
I'm not sure I follow what it is you're saying. Care to explain in a bit more detail?
Game over.
There was a crack of static from above his head, and a voice spoke. 0.
You son of a bitch! Where are you hiding?
Junpei frantically scanned the ceiling for the source of the voice.
I am right here. I've always been close to you.
What the hell are you talking about?
No matter. I will tell you again. Game over. This game has ended.
No, it hasn't! I'm not gonna let it end yet. I'm gonna get out of here with Connie!
You can't. That is impossible.
Why?
Because you chose the wrong path.
The wrong path?
That is correct. Your path was inevitable, however. Admit defeat. Where there is shadow, there is light. Where there is light, there is shadow. So it goes.
What are you talking about?
It matters not. The loser has been decided.
I told you. I'm not gonna lose.
No, you misunderstand. You have lost. I have lost.
What?
Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. He heard the door slam shut behind him.
Yo, walkie-talkie B broke for real. Mr. Lawyer's freestyle got no appeal. Broke before the plume on the scene. Broke before rock could ever dream. Legit goof during clean time. I but build sucker lawyer spit in lies. That ogre don't listen to me, K. Kill the caps, yo, you so cray.
Here we go again with that flip-flop music.
It's hip-hop, you old cracker.
Broken? Of all the flimsy excuses! Build suckin'? That was uncalled for!
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me!
There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much.
Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Not only that, according to Kay's reconstruction, there's no way this was simply a crime of passion. Also, I'm fairly certain that the butler would never harm a hair on Miss Pop's head. But how to show her that? There must be something in my evidence that proves the point that I need to make to her. But first, Miss Pops, did you send this love letter? Objection! Never mind! Hold it! Why did you believe that?
Anyone who knows Mr. Amano would think the same.
I bet Lance is that old man's greatest treasure.
I suppose he would be to a doting father like Mr. Amano.
I always figured that was it too, and I was always envious of Lance for it.
Oh, because your dad's...
I got this pendant from my father. And I believe that as long as I have this, I'll find my father again someday. He'll welcome me into his arms, riding on the back of Pegasus.
That pendant, she must truly believe it to be the wings of Pegasus. It will be my wings to a contradiction if I can just find a place to use it. Hold it! Why do you think he did?
I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning.
Miss Pops.
Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Of course I should. I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely.
Huh?
I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you.
But why? We were total strangers! It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money.
Hold it! Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Take that!
Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant?
This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. Take that! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right! They're the same color and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one.
Kawaii-chan anime desu!
Shall we give it a try?
Wow! It's totally Rainbow I mean Pegasus.
But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
No! That can't be!
So the two make a set. Ha! It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything.
You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well. I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. At least, I think it's somewhere in here. Let's see. Take that!
Wow, Mr. Edge. Hold on, I'll get my tuba.
Alright, everyone, let's just ignore that this happened. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. I really should clean this thing out. Take that! Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Deveray, the name that is etched on the horse pendant.
What? An alias?
I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written in Mr. Deveray's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants. Take that! Mr. Deveray had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops.
That's a lie! That person was not my father!
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you.
No.
Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot.
The dark and chill of the night are swept away by Jude's fire. The flickering flames and the sound of crackling wood coming from the hearth comfort me. Warmness spreads throughout the room. What the warmth fails to melt, however, is Jude's frosty stare. You should try smiling more often.
You should try getting yourself killed less often.
Her tone is sharp, but I can tell her heart's not in it. Would you rather the boy died?
You know that's not what I meant.
What would you have me do then?
I don't know.
Jude's wistful stare penetrates the floor. At last the anger melts away from her face, revealing sorrow. Then there's no point in worrying about it. She lifts her head again to look straight at me.
You could have died.
I know. I was prepared to. I am always prepared.
Well, I'm not. I'm not prepared to lose you.
The anger and sorrow now blend together, marring her lovely face. I wish I could make this face brighter, but there are more faces out there that need brightening.
Are you going to just die? After I saved your life?
Not without a purpose.
As if a purpose would lessen my grief.
I'll be careful. I promise.
Do you?
It wasn't really a question. Finally, Jude sighs away her ire.
Just don't die, okay?
I'll try not to.
Snake stood up.
What? No! That's impossible!
For the first time, Ace's composure broke. With obvious effort, Snake lunged forward, one step closer to Ace. Then another. He looked for all the world like a zombie.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
His voice was the mournful wailing of the undead.
Stay away from me! Get back! Stop! If you come any closer, I'll... Get away from me.
Little by little, Ace was retreating. Snake didn't stop. He continued his stiff, inexorable approach, his eyes twin pools of pure fury.
Listen to me! I said don't come any closer! Shit! You bastard!
Ace's revolver leapt 5 times. 5 times the air in the incinerator was split by the crack of a bullet. Snake's body twitched as 5 clouds of blood and torn flesh leapt into the air across his body. A fine pink mist drifted from his body and disappeared. Snake made a strange sort of choking cough. And then his strength was gone. His legs crumbled and his broken and battered body slid to the floor.
Incineration will begin in 3 minutes.
But Snake wasn't done. Even as the pool of blood beneath him grew, he began to move. He half crawled, half slid toward Ace. One bloody arm wrapped itself around Ace's leg, and the other gripped his thigh with strength that should have been long gone.
You son of a bitch! You're a monster! Get off of me! Let me go! Damn you!
He kicked at Snake with his free leg, driving his foot into Snake's face, his arm, his shoulder. It made no difference. Snake refused to release him. Once a snake has ensnared its prey, rarely does it release it.
This is it, Ace. We're going to burn to death together.
What?
Incineration will begin in 2 minutes.
Ah, damn it! Damn you! Get off!
Let me go, you monster! Okay. Look, think about it this way. My company owns a wonderful hospital. It has excellent doctors. You're not wounded too seriously. I'm sure they could fix you up easily. You don't have to die. You could be saved. Just let me go.
Pathetic. Begging for your life.
Then Seven and Lotus began to speak. Junpei could hear tears in their voices, and their words were strained.
Snake, that's enough. You can stop now.
Yes, he's right, Snake. You've done enough.
Come on, Snake, let's go. Let's get out of here.
You have to come with us. We have to leave together.
Snake turned toward them. He coughed, and blood splattered across the floor. Then he smiled a sad sort of smile.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't do that. You best forget about me. You need to leave soon. I'm going to take him with me.
Shut up! Be quiet!
I couldn't save Clover. My sister died because of me. Perhaps this will begin to atone for that. Perhaps in the afterlife, she can forgive me. Now go. Go now. You have to go.
Don't count on me to testify because I won't. Not for you.
That's right, I won't either. You hear me, young whippersnapper?
Hey, calm down. There's no need for all this hostility. I just want to take a statement from each of you. I'm not going to rough either one of you up. I give you my word. Come now, fair maidens. What do you say? Will you cooperate?
Oh, fair maidens. My, you little rascal, you sure know the way into a woman's heart. I'd like to know my way into your pants.
Lang Zi says, the passage of time is but a fleeting moment, and a lady is young forever.
Trying to outdo my edgy poo with your fancy schmancy sayings. Let's get this over with. So we're clear, I'm only interested in giving you my statement, never my heart.
Sure, just as soon as Mr. Prosecutor leaves us be.
Oh yeah? Well, you're a nerd!
Mr. Edgeworth.
Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, we don't need this.
Oh, don't worry, dear. We'll make do with Mr. Chesty McChest over here. Pity he's whacked within an inch of his life. Must be that Asian thing. I just don't understand why they're hairless. Give me good old Robin Williams any day. God rest his soul.
It's just a tiny difference. It might not even mean anything.
Well, right now, we need to consider every possibility we can, no matter how small. If I can figure out what's different about those bite marks, then maybe I can somehow prove Rhymes' walkie-talkie actually belonged to the victim. Think, Phoenix! You can turn everything around right here and right now! Come on, think! Think! Time to review the facts we have so far. With the intent of killing Orla, Rhymes drained the show stage pool. But Rhymes failed to kill Orla, and instead he tried to pin Shipley's murder on Orla. In order to manipulate Orla, Rhymes must have used a cell phone and a walkie-talkie. But the walkie-talkie Rhymes has is broken. I think it's the victim's walkie-talkie, the one he kept as a memento of Azura Summers. I have to find a way to prove that it is indeed the victim's walkie-talkie. Which piece of evidence left on the walkie-talkie could prove it belongs to the victim? Tooth marks on the walkie-talkie. We have two pieces of evidence with tooth marks, the walkie-talkie and the dummy. What's striking about these two pieces of evidence? Two different bite mark patterns. When I look closely, I see 2 different bite mark patterns. 2 variations, huh? Wasn't there a trick of Orla's that had 2 variations as well? 2 different songs. A year ago, the orca's song and teeth marks were different from what they are now. What could be the cause of these 2 inconsistencies? I can't turn back now, Phoenix. Just keep thinking. What's behind the fact that the orca's tooth marks and song were different a year ago? Eureka! They are 2 different orcas! I'm starting to think there are 2 different orcas, the one a year ago and Orla now. And if the orca a year ago wasn't Orla, it means a bite mark on the walkie-talkie isn't Orla's like Rhyme said it was. Now I can finally prove the walkie-talkie belongs to the victim!
My fingers move on the piano slowly, gently, lightly, resting their weight on the piano keys for but a beat before moving again. They beckon the piano to sing, and the piano sings. But my fingers are too moved by the piano's music. I used to think that this piece was blissful and calming, yet today a tinge of sorrow hidden in the sonata surfaces. It surfaces with the music. The music reaches her hand out to me. I take her hand, and I walk with her through an invisible land in a melancholic white world. Sometimes the faceless music smiles, and I smile back. Other times she frowns, and I follow suit. Of course, in one sense, none of this is actually happening. But in another sense, if I couldn't count on this experience, I couldn't play piano. It can't be real, but it's real. In my heart, I feel that this is true magic. Truer than the daily spellcasting that anyone with a bit of mana in their bloodstream can conjure up.
Don't think that you can seduce me like the others.
Then it's okay if I seduce you a different way.
What? He slowly pulled back to stare at me with his beautiful blue eyes. I could feel myself being drawn in, and the gentle touch of his hand on my cheek only amplified that. He hesitantly drew closer until our lips were mere inches apart. His eyes searched mine before he gently closed the gap. I felt something like a spark pass through me and started to respond to his kiss. I reached up to move my arms around his neck, drawing him even closer. There's no harm in indulging in just one kiss, right? My response seemed to fuel his own as he deepened the kiss and then pulled my body flush against his. When we finally pulled apart, I was a little out of breath. He moved back slightly and ran a hand through his hair before speaking.
So, can I take that as a yes?
I took a step back and looked away, unable to hold his gaze.
I see. Can I at least know why?
Because I'm not like you. This entire time was like a fairy tale, but all fairy tales must come to an end. I have a life to go back to, and so do you. I just don't think they'd ever mesh well together.
Then what if I say I'll make it work?
You can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't take that risk. We can still be friends.
Friends? Alright. There's obviously nothing I can do to change your mind.
Thank you for understanding. He gave a short, stiff nod in acknowledgement. I think I'm going to head back to the mansion. I'll see you tomorrow, right? Another curt nod. I took one last look at him standing there and left.
Let's go! Project!